Hi, in this short video, we'll try and understand as to why Active Directory Manager Plus or the AD Manager Plus should be your go-to solution when it comes to user lifecycle management in Active Directory. The three most common challenges that any administrator would face in their day-to-day operations would be onboarding users. Say a bulk of users need to be onboarded in a specific day. The challenge comes into the picture when you would try and onboard users through the native options that are available. When you try using a PowerShell script, there are always chances that something could go wrong. And something that could be all the more challenging is the transitions that happen in organizations. So employees keep moving between departments all the time, they keep getting promoted, and at such instances it becomes challenging to alter all aspects associated with the account that got provisioned while onboarding. And when it comes to user offboarding, the last and final phase of a life cycle, it requires due attention because you wouldn't want loose ends. You wouldn't want your employees to come back with an access that wasn't revoked right on time. So starting with user onboarding, the challenge is using the native tools. The native tools have limited functionality. The GUI lets you create one user at a time, and if you're someone who likes coding and wants to write a PowerShell script, the script on to the right side of the screen is the script for user provisioning. It gets all the more complex when you're trying to do it for a lot of users. So the challenge right here is you need to always keep toggling between multiple windows. When you want to provision accounts in Active Directory, go ahead and create mailboxes in Exchange, have accounts created in Office 365 and Google Apps, and also assign licenses all at the same time. So the challenges in onboarding include creating accounts across different platforms. Your native platform does not let you do that. And maintaining uniformity in terms of the naming formats for users being created, that again is a big challenge. If you have, say, 5 technicians working in your organization, how exactly can we get all of them to follow the same naming format or the convention when the requests keep coming in? We would need a streamlined way to do this. Likewise, if we have users with the same name to be onboarded, at such instance we would need provision to handle the duplicate entries. And finally, if you are still using the native tools, you would understand as to how difficult it is to interpret the messages that you'd receive in terms of confirmation of a success or a failure. Many a times it turns out to be absolutely vague. You have no idea as to how to proceed forward. So to overcome all these challenges, we will try and understand user creation in AD Manager Plus. So the screenshot right here shows you how simple user management could be, or user creation could be if you were to do it the AD Manager Plus way. The template right here lets you predefine attributes for specific categories. Let's say you have users who need to be onboarded to the sales department. The attributes pertaining to the sales department get pre-filled in this template, and henceforth any user who needs to be onboarded can quickly be onboarded taking reference from this template. And the best part is you would not be restricted just with a department level filter. You could go forward and have intelligent creation rules set that are condition based. When it comes to user provisioning, another added advantage is the automated user onboarding that any administrator would definitely want to get their hands on. The automated user onboarding module lets you schedule onboarding processes. So as and when the HR makes a request for user creation, a simple CSV file can be exported from the HRMS tool, and the automated user onboarding can pick the values of users or data of the users from the CSV file and onboard users effectively and effortlessly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly walk you through the process of onboarding in AD Manager Plus. As new employees need to be onboarded, a simple CSV file gets sent from the HR department The templates that I was talking about earlier would let you map different users to different departments and make use of the pre-specified attributes and simplify the process, not just in Active Directory but also across all these platforms. So what I'll do right now is I'll quickly walk you through the importance of templates, and I'll show you how exactly the templates work. So what we have right here is the ADManager Plus solution. We would want to discuss about user creation templates right now because they form the fundamental structure behind the onboarding process. What you see right here is a series of templates for different departments, for the HR, for IT, for marketing and sales. In the example I discussed earlier, we were talking about sales department. When I try and open up a template for the sales department, you're able to see that all Active Directory attributes are pre-filled, the ones that can be pre-filled. Say for example the description, say for example the organization unit or the container to which the user needs to belong. When it comes to the account tab, you would also be able to see the group memberships marked right. Likewise, Exchange mailboxes can be pre-created. Office 365 and G Suite accounts can also be pre-created. So the templates essentially specify which user gets what attribute even before the user comes on board. And this gets strengthened furthermore because we have an automation module that can quickly sense such a requirement, such an onboarding request from the HR every single day, pick up the values for the new user, such as a CSV file that looks like this. All that the HR needs to do is fill out the first name, the last name, and the corresponding department name. And when the automation module works in the background, you'd be able to see that a bulk user provisioning happens. So the bulk user provisioning happens very similar to this. When you're trying to do it manually, this is how you do it. You fetch, the system fetches the data from this CSV file, and going further, what it does is it validates the details of the users. It checks if the naming convention is followed. It checks if such a template exists. And then what looked very simple and straightforward, just 3 attributes right here listed, the first name, the last name, and the template name, turns out to be a much more elaborate file right here. If you could see right here, we have details of all those users listed in that CSV file, but then the only difference is this time this is much more elaborate and expanded. So the OU is automatically mapped because John in this specific CSV file belonged to the finance department. That's how it was marked. So the OU was automatically specified. The groups to which the user needs to belong, all finance related groups, are also specified. The password is set. It can be randomized. The locations are set. The containers are mapped. The manager is mapped. And in fact, Office 365 user provisioning is also happening simultaneously. So for all these users in one go, user provisioning can happen. And that too, when the automation is set rightly, it can notify the administrator upon such a task's execution and then go forward creating the user as per your approval or rejection. So user onboarding cannot get any simpler. All you need is a simple CSV file and templates for different departments that can pre-specify values for each of the user who's getting onboarded. One challenge down and 2 more to go. Group membership management again turns out to be another big challenge when it comes to transitions or handling employee migration between departments or between sites, or even about employees being promoted. So the best part about ADManager is it has integrated reports, it has user-based reports. The product fetches details of any user who's migrating, or any user who is being promoted, or any user who's there's a transition happening, and it automatically, when configured, goes on to alter attributes based on the conditions that get met. So every single time when a user moves between department or a title gets changed, let's say in case 1, the user becomes a manager, then the membership of that specific user needs to be modified. It gets modified automatically. Likewise, when a user moves from the sales department to the marketing department, again, the memberships need to be altered automatically. That does happen based on the user modification templates that are set in the product. So therefore, any such change that happens is henceforth going to be rule-based, and whenever such change happens, the product automatically modifies the preset conditions to ensure that the right attributes are set, the old ones are removed, and only the new ones are available for the user being modified. Such aspect of this specific solution makes it a lot more effective when it comes to handling user modification. And user modification templates, just like the creation templates, are going to be the ones that you would be needing. Let's say users get moved into the sales department. When I get into the sales department template, again, the attributes would be pre-filled right here. And one thing that you'd want to notice is the modification rules. The modification rule right here says when the department is set to sales, then modify the group membership, change the description, and also change the container. Likewise, you can add more conditions from the list of available attributes that need to be automatically set when a condition or a rule is met. Alright, so therefore, user transitions or modification becomes absolutely simple. The next phase in the user lifecycle, the last and final phase, is employee offboarding. When it comes to offboarding, when you try doing it through the native way, you would always need to have a very long checklist of things to do, because during the course of the user's life cycle, a lot of attributes get provisioned, a lot of accesses get given. In such instances, it becomes tedious to keep note of what was given and removing all of that manually. So what's integrated into the product is an employee offboarding checklist. It could be both for deleting a user and disabling a user. Attributes such as their home folder, service, or remote and terminal services, all of them can be deleted or disabled. Even their mailboxes can be deleted or archived as per your requirement. If we've created Office 365 accounts, we might as well go on and delete them or remove the licenses as you see fit. So likewise, the disable policy here lets you quarantine them or move them to specific folders and then handle them. In fact, if you'd want to run a custom script to have other provisions or tasks done during the course of a removal, you might as well do that. And when it comes to cleaning up your Active Directory for inactive users, that again is a big Active Directory management challenge. The product lets you create an automation that senses an inactive user for the number of days of inactivity that you've sent, automatically disables them, quarantines them, removes off all their groups, also make sure that their Office 365 and other relevant attributes are removed, mailbox is deleted, and cleans them up or deletes the account permanently based on the timeline that you set. Again, we would need the help of an automation right here, and the automation would look something like this. So here we intend to have a multi-step automation in place. So we call it the deprovisioning policy. The policy here specifies it's an user automation that requires to move users to an OU for quarantine, and then it removes their group memberships, and after a span of 2 weeks it goes on and disables the user, disables their mailbox, even removes their Office 365 license, and after a month's time it deletes the user permanently. So more such tasks, either instantaneous tasks when a condition is met, or successive tasks can be created for this case. So if you were to closely watch, this specific deprovisioning happens when a user account has been inactive for a specific span of time. So we would need to ensure that the Active Directory cleanup happens at least once in a month. So the deprovisioning policy that I just showed you turns out to be the backbone of this cleanup task. And once the cleanup task is set for a monthly overview, you'd be able to see that you could also very much enable a notification just in case you want to go or give it a go. So what we see right here is the cleanup task, and the cleanup policy that I walked you through a while back forms the backbone of that cleanup task. And the cleanup task is scheduled for monthly once. It can be altered as per your requirement. You could do it as per your requirement, but this is a best practice you could do at the end of every month, and you can also be notified when such a task happens. So what we've understood through this quick video is ADManager Plus makes your user lifecycle management effortless, be it effortless onboarding, be it smooth mistake-proof transitions, or ensuring perfect offboarding with no backdoor access to your employees. ADManager Plus pretty much does the job for you.